Jack Bartlett never imagined that a casual drive through Hudson would shatter everything he believed about his family. A single overheard conversation in a shadowed alley exposed a darkness lurking behind Nathan's charming smile. A secret so devastating that if revealed, it could destroy every life he had touched. Now, Jack holds the key, and nothing in Heartland will ever be the same. The air was heavy that afternoon as Jack's truck rolled slowly down the edge of downtown Hudson. His mind refused to process what he had just heard. Nathan, charming, helpful, the man everyone trusted, was hiding something unimaginable. His perfect smile and endless kindness were a mask, one that concealed a secret so dark that if it came to light, it could unravel the family he had embedded himself into for years. Jack gripped the steering wheel with trembling hands, knuckles whitening, every familiar corner of the town now seeming alien, haunted by the knowledge that a predator had been living in plain sight. The alley where it happened played over and over in his mind. The crunch of gravel under tires, Gracier's sedan disappearing into the opposite street, Nathan's SUV gliding away as if nothing had occurred. But Jack knew better. Something terrifying had happened, and he now carried the burden of that knowledge. He parked by the Riverside Stop, the little cafe that felt like the only safe corner in a world suddenly filled with danger. The bell chimed cheerfully as he entered, the sound grating against his nerves. Inside, a waitress nodded as he slid into a corner booth, his fingers trembling around the coffee mug. He had to call Lou, had to tell someone, but Nathan's secret couldn't simply be whispered over a phone line. It required a plan, careful strategy, and patience. Lou answered after a few rings, her voice light, unaware that Jack's world had tilted. His instructions were simple. Come to Riverside Stop. Don't tell anyone. Just come. When Lou arrived, the urgency in her eyes mirrored his own. Jack recounted everything he had overheard, Nathan speaking in hushed tones about Ty Bordon, Mongolia, wolves, and survival. Lou's expression shifted from concern to disbelief, then to grim understanding. Ty, her father, Jack's grandson, was alive, hidden by Nathan in some sinister way for years. 6 years of mourning, absence, and lies suddenly felt like a carefully orchestrated deception. Together, they dissected the conversation, piecing together horrifying implications. Nathan hadn't just deceived them. He had infiltrated their lives, positioning himself strategically and patiently. Lou gripped Jack's arm as they considered the impossibilities. How could someone hide a man across the world without leaving a trace? How could he maintain the illusion for 6 years while integrating seamlessly into the family he betrayed? Jack felt bile rise in his throat as he realized that Nathan's warmth, his effortless integration into Heartland, was a grotesque performance. Sitting in tense silence, they began outlining their next steps. Proof was crucial. Any reckless move could alert Nathan, endangering Amy and Lindy. They had to proceed with careful planning. Jack recalled every moment of kindness Nathan had shown over the years, every helpful gesture, every polite conversation. All of it had been calculated. Lou's determination bolstered him. "We bring Ty home," she said, her voice steady and unwavering. Jack nodded. That was their mission now. Proof, planning, and patience. If Nathan's darkest secret was to be revealed, it would be on their terms. For the first time in 6 years, hope sparked in Jack's chest as sunlight streamed through the cafe windows, casting an incongruous warm glow over the storm of realizations they carried. Returning to Heartland would require a performance. A return to the very place Nathan controlled, smiling, blending seamlessly into family life. Jack knew he would have to act normal, smile, laugh, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. The days of blind trust were over. Nathan's mask had slipped, if only briefly, and that was enough. Every move would have to be flawless, every gesture measured, every interaction carefully observed. Above all, Ty Bordon, the man who should have been home years ago, had to be brought back, no matter the cost. Jack took a deep breath, steadying the tremor in his hands. The hunt had begun, and Heartland would never be the same again. Back at Heartland, the ranch appeared calm, golden in the late afternoon sun. Horses grazed lazily, fences stretched across familiar fields, and the warmth of home seemed unchanged. But for Jack and Lou, nothing felt ordinary. Nathan's presence loomed over every interaction, every room, every corner of the house. He moved with ease and charm, assisting Amy with chores, smiling at Lindy, offering subtle guidance with Lisa. All gestures previously interpreted as kindness, now scrutinized for intent and hidden meaning. Jack and Lou became silent observers, cataloging Nathan's every movement. Each smile, each laugh, each casual glance became a data point. How he positioned himself in rooms, how he subtly guided conversations, how he responded to mentions of the past or Ty, everything was noted, stored mentally, analyzed. Lou observed the micro-expressions Nathan couldn't fully hide. A flicker of hesitation, a sharpened gaze, a subtle change in posture. Jack noted the precision of his movements in the barn and around the ranch. Feeding routines, arranging objects, checking locks, adjusting tasks, all ritualistic and calculated. Every interaction became part of a larger pattern. Jack realized that Nathan's charm and warmth were tools, methods to manipulate, to control perception, to maintain an illusion. He cataloged his observations, mentally mapping every routine, every subtle manipulation, every micro-expression. Lou contributed her own insights, noting behavior patterns that aligned with long-term strategy. Together, they began to reconstruct Nathan's methods, preparing to anticipate his moves while maintaining the appearance of ordinary family life. As evening fell, Jack and Lou retreated to a quiet corner to consolidate their findings. The stakes had never been higher. Nathan's control over Heartland was extensive, and any misstep could alert him to their awareness. Yet, even as they cataloged and strategized, cracks in Nathan's mask were emerging. Tiny inconsistencies, brief hesitations, and micro-expressions revealed the first glimmers of vulnerability. Jack's thoughts returned to Ty repeatedly. The grandson who had been hidden for 6 years, manipulated by Nathan's cunning, became the anchor for Jack's determination. Every movement around the ranch, every seemingly mundane interaction now carried immense significance. Their mission was no longer observation alone. It was strategy, planning, and the careful collection of proof. They had to act with patience, precision, and stealth. One wrong word, one revealing glance, and the predator would know they had discovered him. By nightfall, Jack and Lou had established their plan: observe, catalog, and wait for the perfect moment. Heartland's calm was an illusion. Nathan's control was meticulous, but knowledge had shifted the balance. The predator had been exposed, even if only partially, and Jack and Lou were ready to use that advantage. Every smile, every gesture, every casual remark would now be interpreted as part of a growing dossier of evidence. Patience was their ally, preparation was their weapon. Evening settled over Heartland, soft and golden, yet for Jack and Lou, the calm was deceptive. Every ordinary sound, the wind through the trees, distant neighs, the clatter of dishes, was heightened in their awareness. Nathan's presence was a constant, and Jack's eyes followed every gesture, every micro-expression. Each movement was cataloged, each interaction dissected for meaning. Nathan's charm was now a weapon, his warmth a calculated performance. But even the most meticulous performances leave traces, and Jack and Lou were learning to read them. Lou observed Nathan's interactions with Lindy, noting subtle control in his otherwise gentle guidance. Jack focused on Nathan in the barn, documenting repeated tasks, gestures, and routines, each revealing obsessive attention to detail or efforts to cover traces of past actions. Every minor anomaly became a potential clue. Patterns emerged: the order of chores, the positioning near family members, the brief pauses before speaking. These were not mistakes, but potential windows into Nathan's methods. Jack's thoughts returned to Ty. The grandson who had been hidden for years, half-starved and vulnerable in a distant country, became the anchor for their determination. Every act of domestic normalcy, the laughter, the chores, the family meals, was now a facade masking years of deception. Jack and Lou cataloged everything, noting micro-expressions, gestures, and behaviors that hinted at Nathan's mental calculations. The magnitude of his manipulation was staggering, yet these cracks gave them hope. Late into the night, they quietly reviewed their observations, mentally constructing Nathan's web of deceit. They identified moments of vulnerability, patterns of interaction, and behavioral cues that could be leveraged in the future. Their strategy was clear: maintain appearances, gather evidence, and act only when success could be guaranteed. Nathan's mastery of deception had allowed him to manipulate their lives for years, but knowledge now provided the upper hand. Jack realized that patience was their greatest weapon. Every interaction Nathan had with Amy, Lindy, and Lisa could be analyzed and interpreted. The cracks in his facade, though subtle, were enough to start unraveling the truth. With Lou by his side, Jack felt a mixture of fear and determination. Heartland's calm was an illusion. The stage was set, and the hunt had officially begun. Night fell over Heartland, the ranch bathed in moonlight. Yet Jack and Lou's minds were alert and restless. Every sound, every shadow, and every subtle movement from Nathan carried potential significance. The stakes were higher than ever. They needed proof, not just suspicion. Observation alone was not enough. They needed to understand patterns, catalog behaviors, and anticipate Nathan's next moves. They analyzed Nathan's routines, gestures, and interactions in meticulous detail. Every smile, every casual remark, every pause and glance was stored in memory, examined for inconsistencies or micro-expressions that betrayed hidden intentions. Lou observed Nathan's interactions with Lindy and Amy, noting faint control embedded in his guidance. Jack focused on Nathan in the barns and around the ranch, seeing the precision with which he performed even simple tasks. Everything had purpose, yet every pattern offered a thread to unravel. Their planning became almost ritualistic. They rehearsed scenarios, tested contingency plans, and envisioned every possible response Nathan might have. What if he became suspicious? What if he tried to manipulate them into silence? Every question led to a series of strategies designed to protect the family while gathering the evidence needed to confront him. Knowledge was power, and patience was their weapon. Jack repeatedly envisioned Ty, hidden for years, and it sharpened his resolve. Every gesture Nathan had made to maintain control now became a clue, a thread they could follow to expose his deception. Evening interactions were carefully observed, and minute cracks in Nathan's performance began to emerge. Hesitations, fleeting expressions, subtle anomalies. Every small detail was a building block for the strategy. By the end of the day, Jack and Lou had a detailed understanding of Nathan's behavior. They had mapped routines, noted patterns, and identified vulnerabilities. Their mission was clear: observe, catalog, wait, and strike when the moment was right. Nathan's mastery of manipulation was formidable, but so was their resolve. The calm of Heartland was a mask, but Jack and Lou now possessed the knowledge to pierce it and reclaim what had been stolen. The morning broke over Heartland with deceptive calm. Sunlight glinted across fences and fields, horses grazed peacefully, and the warmth of the ranch remained unchanged. But Jack and Lou knew better. Nathan's presence was a constant threat, and the family was unaware of the storm about to hit. Every sound, every gesture, every movement mattered. Breakfast was a choreography of normalcy. Amy hummed, Lindy laughed, Lisa worked efficiently, Nathan charmed as always. Jack and Lou moved with precision, cataloging interactions, noting inconsistencies, subtle pauses, and micro-expressions. Nathan's charm was a tool, but cracks were forming, faint but undeniable. Throughout the day, Jack and Lou documented routines, analyzed behaviors, and constructed a plan for gathering proof. Nathan's gestures, positioning, and attention to detail revealed patterns that could be leveraged. Every minor anomaly, hesitation, fleeting glance, ritualistic action became a potential piece of evidence. Patience was key. One wrong move could compromise the mission. Evening brought reflective planning. Jack and Lou silently reviewed observations, refining the strategy. Nathan had been exposed, even if only partially, and now the balance had shifted. They had knowledge he had never anticipated. The calm of Heartland was a facade, but Jack and Lou were ready. The storm was coming, and when it hit, Nathan's mask would fall, revealing the full truth. Ty Bordon's fate would no longer remain hidden, and Heartland would never be the same. The morning at Heartland broke with a deceptive tranquility. Sunlight spilled across the ranch, illuminating fields, fences, and the horses grazing lazily, as if nothing in the world could disturb the familiar peace. But for Jack and Lou, this ordinary calm was a fragile mask, a deceptive quiet that contrasted sharply with the storm brewing in their minds. Every rustle of leaves, every creak of the wooden floorboards, every faint echo from the kitchen carried potential significance. Nathan's presence permeated the house like an invisible predator, and Jack and Lou's awareness of the truth had transformed them into silent observers, constantly measuring, analyzing, and planning. Breakfast was a careful choreography of normalcy. Amy moved effortlessly, unaware of the tension lurking just beyond sight, while Lindy's laughter bubbled through the kitchen, a reminder of innocence and the life Nathan had manipulated. Lisa quietly assisted, her calm demeanor a grounding force, yet even she was unknowingly participating in a scene of careful deception. Nathan's charm, his warmth, his effortless integration into their lives, all the traits that had once inspired trust, were now objects of meticulous scrutiny. Jack noted every glance Nathan cast, every subtle shift in posture, every fleeting micro-expression. Nathan was a man who had perfected the illusion of normalcy, but even the most flawless mask develops cracks under pressure. Jack and Lou moved with deliberate coordination, silently exchanging notes through glances, gestures, and shared understanding. They cataloged Nathan's habits, the order of his movements, his attention to detail, the way he positioned himself near others, and how he monitored reactions to subtle cues. Each anomaly, no matter how minor, was a thread they could follow to reveal the truth. Lou observed his interactions with Lindy, noting the faint control woven into otherwise gentle guidance, while Jack focused on Nathan's behavior with Amy and Lisa, the subtleties of influence hidden beneath casual conversation. Every ordinary action became part of a larger, intricate puzzle. As the day unfolded, Jack and Lou began constructing a strategy to gather concrete evidence. Observation alone would not suffice. They needed proof that could withstand confrontation without endangering the family. They considered every angle, every contingency, from controlled questioning to monitoring Nathan's reactions to references about Ty or past events. Their planning was meticulous, factoring in Nathan's intelligence, patience, and cunning. Each moment of calm was treated as an opportunity to observe, document, and prepare. The ranch, so familiar and warm, had become both stage and battlefield. Jack's thoughts returned again and again to Ty, his grandson, whose life had been hidden, controlled, and manipulated for years. The weight of lost time pressed on him like a physical force. Every laugh, every moment of happiness in Heartland's ordinary domestic life was now layered with the knowledge of deceit. Nathan had stolen years from their family, yet Jack and Lou knew that patient, calculated action could reclaim what was lost. They were no longer merely observers, they were strategists, preparing to turn Nathan's careful planning against him. By mid-afternoon, Nathan's patterns were unmistakable. His movements, gestures, and interactions followed a precise rhythm, a choreography designed to conceal his true intentions. Jack and Lou cataloged the smallest details: how he arranged objects, how he positioned himself in line of sight, how he responded to subtle mentions of the past. Each micro-expression, each subtle hesitation, each calculated smile was recorded mentally. They recognized that Nathan's deception was not merely opportunistic, it was an art of manipulation honed over years. Yet cracks were forming. Moments of distraction, small lapses in control, fleeting expressions of thought that could not be hidden, all provided the foothold they needed. As evening approached, Jack and Lou retreated to a quiet corner of the ranch to review their observations. Their plan was clear: observe, document, and wait for the perfect moment. Every movement Nathan made would be an opportunity to gather evidence. Every interaction a test of the fragile balance between concealment and revelation. They would need patience, precision, and a relentless focus on the end goal. One misstep could compromise everything, alerting Nathan that he was being watched. But Jack and Lou had the advantage of knowledge, something Nathan had never anticipated. The night fell softly over Heartland. The ranch bathed in moonlight, every shadow elongated and eerie. Jack and Lou moved quietly through the house, blending into the routines of domestic life while remaining ever vigilant. Nathan's charm and warmth continued to mask the darkness beneath, yet even in his carefully maintained performance, subtle cracks emerged. A hesitation in his gesture, a lingering glance at an object, a flicker in his eyes. All were recorded, stored for the moment when confrontation could occur safely. Patience was their ally. Knowledge was their weapon. Jack glanced at Lou, their eyes meeting in silent understanding. Every movement, every word, every interaction from this point forward would be deliberate. They would gather proof, protect the family, and expose Nathan's dark secret when the timing was perfect. Ty Bordon's fate, long obscured, would not remain hidden any longer. The calm of Heartland was deceptive, a thin veil over years of manipulation, but Jack and Lou were ready. The storm was coming. The game had changed. And when the moment arrived, Nathan's mask would finally fall, revealing the truth in full, undeniable clarity.